Okay, welcome to Training Bites, everyone, a digestible approach to counterpoint training. As you saw in the email, we're going to talk about price rules today. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to enter them in the Q&A window at the top of your toolbar. If you don't have a Q&A window, use your chat. We will have a Q&A at the end of the session, so stick around. My name is Gina Thomas. I'm the training manager here at C&K Systems and your hostess for Training Bites today. Joining me is your host, Marty, who's a project lead here at C&K Systems. And he'll stick around to answer questions. What was that, Marty?
Greetings. Hello.
And greetings back to you. So it's the end of the holiday season, and you probably want to put holiday merchandise on sale. And so one method is just to inform your sales associates, hey, all holiday merchandise is 25% off. But then they have to remember to do the discounted point of sale for that merchandise. And doing those price overrides at point of sale is a little bit time consuming. Now, some people put items on sale just by editing their price one. That way it just rings up at that discounted price, which is fine. You can do it that way and then change it back to full price whenever the sale is over. But then that means you've got to work the night before or the morning of editing those prices, which can be time consuming. For those of you that have been into inventory prices, you've probably seen a lot of different modules there. There's contract, promotional, special. I mean, what's what, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about price rules, contract, promotional, specials, when and how to use each one. We'll talk about the price test utility, which is a great place to go test your price rules before you put them into play. You know, maybe you have a sale that's taking place in the future and you want to test it. You can't test it at point of sale because it's in the future. So the price test utility is very helpful for that. Then we'll kind of take things to the next level. You know, we'll do some simple price rules, and then we'll talk about mix and match. Mix and match are great for BOGOs, and they're also great for discounting groupings of items. Like if you're in the spirits business, buy any 12 select wines for $59.99. So we'll just start off with some price rule basics. They work automatically, so nobody has to remember anything, which is the beauty of a price rule. And they work automatically based on what's on the ticket and what's in the rule criteria. Every time you scan an item at point of sale, Counterpoint's checking your price rule file, and it looks at contract first, promotional second, and special last. And when Counterpoint is searching your price rule file, when it finds a rule that matches the criteria on the ticket, it stops looking. And for that reason, price rules cannot be stacked. I get this all the time. Well, I want them to get 25% off and then an additional 10%. The price rules will not do that. Price rules do not prevent your associates from performing manual discounts. So in other words, if an item is scanned to the ticket that qualifies for the price rule, and then your sales associate decides to do a price override, Counterpoint is not going to stop them. When you make a price rule, it does not change the price one on the item master. That remains intact. What happens is that when you scan the item at point of sale, it just rings up at the discounted price. If you want your price rules to show as a discount on a receipt, there's a switch that needs to be enabled in point of sale stores. If you are a Galaxy customer, price rules do not flow into Galaxy. So if you need some special pricing in Galaxy, you need to talk to your Galaxy rep. First, I'm going to talk about promotional prices. These are great for random, unrelated items that may have different discount percentages or discount amounts. Again, kind of like that end of season, or let's say you have 50 book titles, but only 2 of them are on sale. One is 50% off and one is $9.99. So that's what's nice about promotional pricing. Random items, random discounts. In order to complete promotional pricing, your first step is something called planned promotions. This is a worksheet where you add the items and the discount amounts. Only price one is utilized on these worksheets, so you can't discount anything based on price levels 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When you're done with the worksheet, you implement the worksheet, and then it becomes a promotional price. So while the items are on the worksheet, nothing's happening at point of sale. Once you implement the price sheet or the planned promotion, then you'll see the sales at point of sale. So when it comes to a planned promotion, I got a screenshot here. You're going to go to inventory prices. You'll select planned promotions. You can select your items one at a time by going into the item lookup, which is fine, or you can bulk add items with the Add Items button. When you're done with the worksheet, at the upper right, you'll click on Create Promo, and then the worksheet will disappear, and all the prices will move over to promotional pricing. And we'll actually see that in action a little bit later on when we get into the software. Contract pricing is my favorite place to go to set up price rules, but the items within contract pricing need to have something in common. They can't be random items like in a promotional pricing. One of the reasons I like contract pricing the best is it's the first set of rules Counterpoint reads. So I typically don't even bother with special pricing because anything in special pricing is going to be at the bottom of the list of what Counterpoint reads. So a general rule of thumb, if you do have items that you're putting on sale that have something in common, I would set them all up in contract pricing. They're also great for customer segments, and I think they're the best place to go to set up BOGOs or to set up mix and match items. So when it comes to setting up a contract price, you're going to go to inventory prices, you're going to select contract prices, and the first screen you're going to see is on the main tab. And one of the first things you can do is define a beginning and ending date range, or you can just leave it at the default, meaning the sale is good forever. If the price rule is going to apply to certain customer segments, the bottom half of the page will let you select a particular customer or a grouping of customers. Then you'll move to the Rules tab, and in the Rules tab is where you'll define a rule description, a price, a method for the discounting, a basis for the discounting, the amount. And if you go to the item filter or the sales tab here, these two tabs, then you can specify qualifying groupings of items or a store or even a special day of the week. Group order matters with your price rules. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but when you're on any price group, you'll see a button that says group order. You want to set your price rules so the least used rule is at the top of the group, which I know sounds really counterintuitive, but here's why. If you look here, I have my employee discount at the top. And as a general rule of thumb, if you have an employee discount, just put it at the top of your group order. So anytime I ring a sale, Counterpoint looks in this order at the price rules. So I have a walk-in customer. I scan an item, Counterpoint says, oh, they're not an employee. Let me move on to the next price rule. Oh, they're not a senior. Let me move on to the next price rule. Oh, they're not buying a BOGO item. Let me move on to the next price rule. Oh, look, there's some topsoil here. This qualifies for an automatic discount. And I'll mention here too, I think price rules are one of the trickiest things to master in Counterpoint. So if you're trying to set up a price rule and you're really challenged by it, my goodness, don't pull out your hair. Log a support ticket. We will help you. You can test your price rules at point of sale. If the price rule is going to go into effect right away, that's fine. But what if your registers are all being used? Well, you can use the price test utility, or the price rule doesn't take effect until a future date. Again, you can use the price rule utility. So it's under Inventory, Utilities, Price Test. At the top left, you would select a customer if your price rule is dedicated to a customer segment. Select an item, and then at the bottom, click on Get Price. And right here on this side of the screen, you'll see that this item I selected qualifies for a price rule called Members Only. And then you can see here the full price. This is kind of backwards if you ask me. It's upside down. The full price is $109, but at point of sale, it'll ring up $98.10. For those of you that have loyalty programs, you can also use this utility to test your loyalty points. Now to take it to a new level, let's talk about mix and match codes. Again, these are great for BOGOs. And when it comes to mix and match codes, you have to have a code attached to the price rule and attached to the item record. So mix match codes are attached to the price rule and then to qualifying items. You can attach your mix match codes one at a time to an item if you only have a few of them. But if you have lots and lots that need to be attached to a mix match code, there is a utility to bulk assign mix match codes. Also understand that if you're doing BOGOs like buy one, get one free, buy one, get the second one half off, there is no mechanism in Counterpoint out of the box to auto discount the less expensive item. So scanning order matters. Your associates have to ring up the expensive item first and the inexpensive item second. Now that being said, if you don't want to do all that, there is a customization we sell that will detect the less expensive item. But out of the box, FREE free, scanning order matters. This is a screenshot of the mix and match utility. So if you go to, I don't want to put these mix and match codes one at a time, my goodness. So if you go to Inventory, Utilities, Assign Mix and Match Codes, you can use the filter at the top half of the page to say, well, I want to assign mix match codes to this grouping of items. Down at the bottom, you put in your code, assign it, and then you can even preview a report to see where Counterpoint or what items Counterpoint's going to assign that mix match code to. And then you can also update. And then Counterpoint will just, in the blink of an eye, assign those mix match codes, which is pretty nice. If you want to use BOGO, there's a configuration setting under Setup, Point of Sale Stores. On the Tickets 1 tab, you need to enable Use Item Total Quantity for Pricing. If you want discounts to print on your receipts, whether it's a price override or it's getting discounted because of a price rule, you'll need to click on the Receipts tab in Point of Sale Stores. It's all the way over on the right. And when you click on that, at the bottom of the Receipts tab, you'll have a place to enable discounts. The detail meaning at the line level, and then total discount meaning at the bottom you saved X amount. Okay, let's go into the software and take a look at some price rules. Okay, so I'm going to start with planned promotions. Remember, that's a worksheet. Once I implement the worksheet, everything turns into a promotional price. So I'm going to go to Inventory and Prices, Planned Promotions. And here on the group code line, I'm just going to free type a name. You're limited to 10 characters. So maybe I want to call this Spring Fling or something, but I have to abbreviate because I only have 10 characters. I'm going to press my Enter key. On the description, I can spell out whatever I want. I have 30 characters. I can choose a store or all stores if I want. And then I can set a beginning and end date. And these are required. You have to put something here. So I'll just do it for the whole year. Now down here at the bottom, I can go in here and I'm just going to put some golf clubs on sale. If I can spell. There we are. So I'm going to select an item and I'm going to click OK. And then over here on the right, I can either change the price. So maybe I want the price to be 300. And Counterpoint will, sorry about that, in the wrong field. Here is where you would put the price. And then Counterpoint will calculate the discount from price one. And if you're using regular price, it'll even show you the discount from there. Or instead of doing that, I can just say, you know what, I want to give a discount of 50%. Counterpoint will say, well, that means that it's going to ring up at 187. Then I'll just save my line. So I can do that one at a time. And again, you're going to use this for just random items that are getting random discounts. Now, if you want to bulk add items, you can, but there's still going to be a lot of clicking involved. So if I click on add items and I say just add everything from my golf club category or my golf category, and then OK, and I'll just replace all these. Okay, so then I'd still have to come and touch each item and put in a price or a discount all the way down the line. And so I'll just give this $5. You can see the discount. Go down here, give this a price or a discount, and on and on. Then when I'm done, I can save. Now, at this point, this worksheet has no effect at point of sale. It is just a worksheet. It's something you can work on during the day or over several days. But when you're ready to implement that promotional price, you're going to click on Create Promo. And Counterpoint's it's giving me a warning that I haven't assigned a price to everything, but that's okay. It's just going to create the promo for the items I assigned a price. So I'll say yes. It gives me a preview of the items that I changed that are now going to be part of promotional pricing. And you might want to print this up and save it because, once the worksheet is implemented, you don't see this anymore. Or you don't have to, but you can. And then you even get a promotion. Or a promotion. Yes, we're all promoted for using promotional prices. You get a prompt when you implement the worksheet. What it's telling you is you can't print the worksheet once this is done, that worksheet that we just saw the preview of. And it'll also tell you that once we are finished creating, that the worksheet is going to disappear from planned promotions and everything becomes a promotional price. And at that point, you cannot add anything else to the worksheet because it's gone. So I'm just going to say yes. Okay, and then it's telling me, okay, you now have a promotional price. There's 2 items in it. So if I want to check it out, I can come here to promotional prices. I can see my black arrows here. Here's my spring fling. Now, let's say at this point I decide, I don't want an ending date. You can change it. It's that simple. If I come here to rules, you can see that Counterpoint did a lot of work for me where it says, well, here's the item. It's going to be a fixed price of $5. Here's another item. It's going to be a fixed price of $1. I've had people that go directly into promotional prices rather than use the worksheet. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's an awful lot of work to do it manually. So the planned promotion worksheet is really the way to go. If you find you left something off the worksheet, just go create another one. Now, if you create a second worksheet, it will not merge with this one, but that's okay. Just create another worksheet. Now maybe I want to test my items. So I'm just going to come here and grab this item here. I'm going to test it and make sure it rings up correctly. I'm going to save my price rule first. So we'll pretend it doesn't take effect until January 5th, right? So if you go to Inventory, Utilities, Price Test, I'm going to put in the item. going to press my enter key. I'm going to say, oh, this doesn't begin until the 24th if I, set it in the future. And then I'll just go ahead and click on Get Price. And so you can see Counterpoint is saying when it reads through the price rule file, this is the one that matches the criteria. This one is going to sell for $1. And I can see I didn't have a price to begin with, but now it is going to sell for $1. So that's promotional pricing, random items, random prices, and how to test. Of course, you can test at point of sale, but the price test utility at least won't use up a point of sale station. So let's talk about contract pricing next. And I'm going to start with a very, very simple price rule for an employee discount. And everyone, I hope, doesn't offer employee discounts. So again, on the group code line, I need a name. And I'm just going to free type it, employee discount. And I'm again, 10 letters. I'm going to press my enter key. I'm going to give it a description. Here you have 30 letters. And then I can specify a beginning and end date. Now, because I only want this to apply to employees, I want to select a category for my employees. Now, this means making a customer record for your employees, by the way. I'm just going to go into a quick customer record and show you where I like to segment customers. So here's a customer record, and down here under category is where I've segmented my customers. I have some customers that are military, some that are seniors, some that are club members, and then I have a customer record for each one of my employees. This is a great way to keep track of who's using their employee discount, by the way. So I'm just going to cancel out of here. And down here, I'm going to say this only applies to customer records that have the category of employee. Now, you could use that same type of logic if you were doing a senior discount. Maybe your group code would be senior discount, and the category would be senior, and it would only apply to customers with a category of senior on the customer record. Now, in rules, I'm going to give it a description. Again, it's just going to be employee discount. Maybe I'll even say it's 25% off everything. Off ever. You're limited to 30 characters there. But nothing's going to happen at point of sale at this point. All we've done is given some names. We've chosen a customer segment. We've given a description. So where the action happens is over here on the Prices tab. This is where you specify how many they have to buy to qualify for the discount. I usually leave this at 0 for something this simple. The method. What's the discounting method? Are you going to pick a price? Is it going to be a fixed price, a discount amount or percentage, or maybe a markup? So for this one, I'm just going to give it discount percent, and then a discount based on what? Based on your regular price, your price one, or your other price levels, or your average cost, or standard cost, or last cost. I'm going to make this from price one. And then in the amount percent, I'm going to say 25%. Okay, so now my price rule is done. If I don't do anything else, it means this price rule will discount 25% for customers with the employee category on everything in inventory. So if I don't want my employees to get 25% off everything, I can come to the Items tab, and I can just select a particular item they get a discount on, which is not very nice. You want to be a little more broad than that. Maybe a particular category, they get 25% off all apparel. Or you could do it the other way around. You could modify the filter to say 25% off everything except apparel. Here on the Sales tab, you can set a sale time. My employees are only allowed to make purchases between 4 and 6 p.m. Or I'm only offering employee discounts on a certain day of the week in the date range, from the beginning and end. And then, of course, you would save. Now, I already have one set up, so I'm just going to cancel this. And so here's one I set up earlier, my employee discount. I gave it a name, I gave it a description, I gave it a category. I came to rules, gave it a rule description. I said they had to buy at least one, but you can leave that at 0. They're getting a discount of 25% off everything. And then maybe I want to test it. So I need to find a customer that has an employee category. And I can test this at point of sale, or I can test it in the price rule utility. So I'll just test this one at point of sale. So first I need a customer that belongs to the employee category. So I'll just type employee. Here's somebody here, Ken Davis. And it's 25% off anything. I'll just select an item. And you can see that did not discount. Ken, I just know you're an employee. And that did not discount. So you might say, well, gee, what is going on here? So I'm going to say no to that and just void that. So this is the challenge with price rules is sometimes you set it up, it looks like everything's correct, and then you go to use it and it doesn't work. So then we need to do a little troubleshooting. And again, if you get into this situation and you're just not sure where to go, log a support ticket. So I'm going to go back to inventory and prices, and I'm going to find my employee price. There it is. Now, one of the first things I check is this switch here. Is it enabled? Okay, and it is. Come back here to rules. My employee discount looks okay. I don't have anything in my filters. I'll just make that a 0 just for fun. Okay, so now I'll try it in the price test utility. Because if something's going wrong, I'll probably be able to see it in there. So there's another reason to look at the price test utility. So I'm going to select my customer, that is an employee, Ken Davis. I'm going to select an item. This should apply to any items. So let's go with this travel case, or let's go with this. Now I'm going to click on Get Price, and that worked. I can see that worked. It might be because I changed that minimum to a 0 for whatever reason, but just for fun, I want to test it at point of sale too. So I'm going to choose the same item. And we'll make that full screen. Again, I'm going to pick my customer. That's an employee. Come in here. And you can see it's discounting very easily. So that's the simplest type of price rule you can set up. Some other type of simple price rules that you can set up is, I have some examples here. I'm going to go back to inventory prices. So here I set up one called 2 for $3. Buy 2 select items that are usually, $2 each, let's say. But if you buy 2, you get them both for $1.50 each. So I just gave it a group code. It's good for any day of the week, any time of the year. It's good for any customer. So I'm going to leave the customer fields blank. I'm going to go to rules. I set up a rule. I want you to notice that when you do go to the rules tab, especially on an existing price rule, it defaults to a blank line, which some people find really confusing. So you just have to remember, if you really want to look at the rule and how it's set up, click on that line. Okay, so for this rule, 2 for $3, I'm going to use BOGO. I'm going to require the full group to qualify, meaning they have to buy 2 in order to get the discount. So you can see here, there's 2. It's a fixed price, and that means each unit is $1.50. So they're normally $2, but using the price rule, they buy 2. Each unit is $1.50. This is a mistake a lot of people make with these 2-4s. They put a full price in the amount price instead of what the unit price will be after the discount. Now in this example, it's for a particular item. So I went to the items tab and I chose this item. This item only will qualify for the 2 for $3. So let's go test it. So go back to the price test. It can qualify for any customer, so I don't need to pick a customer, but I'm going to pick my item. So I'm going to find my Coke item. There it is. And I'm only going to put a quantity of 1, and I'm going to get price. And you can see here, there is no price rule that is impacting a quantity of 1. It sells for $2. The calculated price at point of sale is $2. So now I'm going to change this to 2, and I'm going to get price again. Aha! Now the price rule is taking effect. It's 2 for $3. I can see down here it's 2, but it's going to ring up at $1.50. So we'll just go log back into point of sale and take a look at that. So again, I don't need to select a customer. You can see it's ringing up at $2. I'm going to select another one, and now they're each $1.50. So again, fairly simple, fairly straightforward price rules. But now let's get just a little bit more advanced. Let's talk about BOGOs and mix and match codes. So with a BOGO, and I already have one set up here, I'm still going to give it a group code. I just called mine generically BOGO. Give it a description, BOGO or buy one, get one. But here's where things are different. I need a mix and match code. That way I can assign it to the price rule and qualifying items. So real quick, let's go take a look at the rest of the rule. I'm going to go to rules. Now this one is a buy one, get one free. So you can see if they buy one, and I have this enabled, 2 for full, and this requires full group to qualify. It just means if I'm requiring 2, you have to buy 2. If you buy a third one, it's going to be full price. A fourth one, then it all gets discounted again. So you have to buy in groups of 2 in this example. So if I buy 1, I'm going to just pay full price. But if they buy 2, the second item will be a fixed price of 0. Now notice there's nothing here in the items filter. It's because the mix and match code takes place of the items filter, which is fantastic. So how do I make this mix and match code? I'm going to unlock this field and go into this lookup. Here's my mix and match code lookup. On the fly, just by making up a name here. And you can base it on, it's usually based on total quantity, but you can also base it on, price one or some numeric fields. We get fancy with those, but normally it's going to be on quantity. I'm not going to save that. If you want to create the mix and match code outside of the price rule, you can. I'm just going to close out of here real quick so you can see. Inventory, prices, mix match code, type it in, give it a description, and save. I'm going to go back to the contract prices and my BOGO. Buy one, get one free. So if you buy 1, you're going to pay full price. If you buy 2, you're going to get the second one for free. So I've made this mix and match code and I've attached it to the price rule, but now I have to select qualifying items. If they buy these certain items, they qualify for the BOGO. So I can go to inventory items, select an item. Let's select another item and then just go into this mix match code and assign the code. Now that's fine if you just have a few. To do it this way, or if you want something that's just slightly quicker, you can go to table view. You can filter for a grouping of items, and then you could just plug in the mix and match code right here. But let's say you've got hundreds of qualifying items. This is going to be too time consuming, and so is this, selecting them one at a time. So that's where that utility comes into bulk assign. So I'm going to close out of here. And I'm going to go to Inventory, Utilities, Assign Mix Match Codes. I'm going to tell Counterpoint to pick a particular category to assign the mix match code to. I'm going to select the mix match code I want assigned. I'll just call it this one here. And then, before I actually update my items, I probably want to run a report just to preview and make sure that Counterpoint is capturing all or not too many of these items. So I'm going to click on preview. So this is everything that it's going to assign the mix match code of flowers to. And I can even go to the end of the report and see it's going to affect 71 items. And then when I'm happy with that, I'll just click on update items, and then Counterpoint will write this value back to my item records. So I'm going to go back to contract prices. We're going to go ahead and look at that BOGO again. Now, BOGOs are kind of difficult to test in the price utility. When I test a BOGO, I like to test with different items to make sure that the qualifying items are working correctly. So this is something that I would test at point of sale. So again, first one is going to be full price. Second one is going to be free. And I'm going to check my group order, have my employees at the top. This BOGO goes down here a little bit further. So now let's go test it at point of sale. So I'm going to pick a qualifying item. So here's one of my BOGO items. It's $10. And it rings up at $10. Now I'm going to get another qualifying item. Now notice this is the same price. All right, so that's kind of like the ideal situation with your BOGOs. But see how it rings up 0? Because it was the second item I scanned. Now watch what happens when I pick a BOGO item that is more than the first item I scanned. So this item is $16.50. See how it rings up free? So again, scanning order matters. So I'm just going to go ahead and void this ticket. Then we're going to look at one more, a little more complex. But again, if you get stuck setting up price rules, please give us a call. So I have a BOGO for books. So I gave it a group code, gave it a description. My mix and match code is books, which I also attached to qualifying books in inventory. Here on the rules, it's 3 for $12. So if they buy a total of 3, it's a fixed price of $4 each. And again, I've enabled BOGO, the 2-for, and require full group. So you'll see how that works now when you require the full group. So let's go into point of sale and take a look at that. So again, I don't need a customer. So I'm going to find something with my books logo or my books mix and match code. So here's the Very Hungry Caterpillar for $25. And it rings up $25 because I haven't purchased 3 yet. I'm going to pick another one, and it rings up at full price. Now I'm going to pick a third one. So now they're each $4. Remember that switch require full group. So now I'm going to pick a 4th book. And it rings up full price. So now I'll get another book. And again, it rings up at full price. So now I'll get another one. And now they all go for $4. So that's pretty important, that require full group switch. And let me go here. And, I want to show you the store setting. So we have that store setting that if you're going to use BOGO, you have to enable it. And if you want discounts to show on your receipts, you need to enable a setting. So that's easy. Setup. Wrong place. Setup. Point of sale. And stores. And I'm just going to find my main store here. So in order to use BOGO, I'm going to click on Tickets 1, and I'm going to enable this switch, Use Item Total Quantity for Pricing. So if your BOGOs aren't working, not only am I going to make sure that the rule is enabled, but I'm going to come check this switch and make sure it's enabled as well. Then if I want discounts to print on my receipts, whether it's from a price override or from a price rule, I click on Receipts. And down here at the bottom is where I can select. So for my detail type, for the line discount, I want to see the price one and the dollar discount. And then for the message at the bottom, I want it to show a total dollar discount. When you're selecting these, they need to be in agreement with each other. So if I selected something like this and then something like this, see how this message is coming up? This is, letting you know that Counterpoint's confused about what you're doing because these two values don't agree with each other. So you want to make sure that they are in agreement. See, even this one isn't, but this one is happy with it. And then, of course, make sure you save your changes. Um, Something that I ran across with another customer is that this minimum discount percentage, in order to print the discount on the receipt, has to be discounted at least 2%. And the client that I was working with was giving like a 1% discount, so it wasn't showing on the receipt. So if you run into that, that's why 2% is the default. You can change it to whatever you like. All right, let's go back to the slide deck. And I shall start from the current slide. So hopefully you've learned a little bit about price rules. My go-to is contract, unless they're random items, and my go-to is promotional. And I really don't use special pricing. I mean, I know people that do, it's fine. I usually stick to contract and promotional. And I got to tell you, by doing that, if there is something that's not working with the price rule and you're only working in contract or contract and promotional, then there's less places to look for a mistake. If you're using all three, there's more places to look. Um, Testing your price rules before they go into effect is a great use of the price test utility. Of course, you can always test at point of sale as long as it's going to go into effect immediately. And then to get a little more complexity to price rules, BOGOs, or buy 12 selected wines out of my 50 wines. There's 12 selected you can pick, and I'll sell you the entire 12 bottles for $59.99. And remember, important, the mix and match code needs to be on the price rule and the items. I've had people set up a mix and match code and just attach them to the items and not understand why they aren't working. So it's important that it's on the price rule and the items. Okay, we always appreciate your feedback. Friday, you'll get a link to the recording along with a survey. Um, so you can give me some topic suggestions for 2025. Let us know how we did. Or you can go straight to our website to fill out the survey, www.cksystem.com/training bites survey. February the 5th, our next training bites, we're going to talk about menu codes. I've covered this before in webinars, but I think it's worth repeating because it's such a useful feature. So menu codes will allow you to restrict movement for certain groups of people. Like, I don't want my salespeople having access to all my setups. I don't want my salespeople having access to purchasing. So we can restrict movement or go the other way around. With a menu code, you might say, you know what, my back office group doesn't have quite enough power. I need them to be able to go in and set up stations and drawers. So we could give them access through a menu code. You can also rename your buttons. Maybe you see a button that says ticket and that makes no sense to you. It would be nicer if that ticket button or touchscreen button said make a sale. So we can actually change the names of those buttons. We can also create custom buttons. Maybe you run 5 or 6 different reports a day. I hope you don't run that many, but let's say you do. You could actually create a custom button and stick all 5 or 6 of those reports under one button, so you're not going to various modules to run those different reports. Through a menu code, you can also link external programs to Counterpoint, like Excel or Word. So make sure you join us February the 5th, at same time, 10 and 1. Learn about menu codes. And remember, if you sign up but you can't attend, that's fine. You'll still get a copy of the recording. If you don't sign up, you don't get the recording. If you want Counterpoint training tailored to your business, your data, give me a call. Main number 888-476-7911 extension 3, or you can email training@cksystem, no S at the end, cksystem.com. All right, Marty, let's take a look in the Q&A.
Here I am.
I knew you
Okay.
were there.
I hit the wrong button. Paige asks, How do we turn off loyalty points on the BOGO? And what I can't remember is which price group is excluded as actually that I just see it now. It's promotional prices. So promotional prices. So under set up customers loyalty programs, there's a checkbox to
Oh,
turn
this is
off
true.
loyalty points on sale items. And this is one of those things where Counterpoint says, the people who developed Counterpoint said, well, sale prices, everybody knows what a sale price is,
Because not
and
so
they don't.
much. I'm going to show
Because,
everyone that switch because
sure,
it's something that I uh, did not know when I was new to Counterpoint and price rules. Because
me
when you look
too.
at it at face value, yeah, when you look at it at face value, it seems all encompassing. So I'm just going to go to a loyalty program. So Paige, it's a good question. So this allow on sale items strictly means promotional pricing. So it doesn't mean exclude loyalty from contract pricing or special pricing, just promo pricing. I think that's a very misleading statement. It should have been expanded to say allow on promotional sale items.
Right. So uncheck that box, set up your BOGO instead of under contract, under promotional, and it won't give loyalty points on those BOGO items.
Yeah, and Paige, if you need help with that, because the BOGO isn't real obvious when you go to promotionals, like when you go to your worksheet. This is a really good question, so let's just show everybody. So when you go to your worksheet, there's no place for a BOGO. So you'd have to create your worksheet and then create your promo. And then once it comes over here to promotional prices, then we can assign a BOGO to it. Now notice that the field is locked, so we can unlock it and then assign the mix match code. And Paige, if you need help with that, just log a ticket and ask for me, and I'll help you out with that. Okay, anything else there, Marty? That was a good question.
That's all I see so far, but I'm sure someone's typing furiously saying, "Ooh, I have a question."
Let's see. And if you missed part of the presentation today, or you want to, kind of refresh yourself on it, we have another session at 1 o'clock Eastern. You're more than welcome to attend again. Repetition is our friend, I always say.
Well, I don't see anybody. I thought they'd be typing furiously. Okay, I still can't come to the phone.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions. I checked the chat too. I don't see anything.
Okay.
Okay. Well, everyone,
All right.
thank you for your time today. Oh, did I hear somebody chime in there?
Let me see.
I thought I heard somebody say something, but everyone's still muted, so doubt it.
All right.
Okay, everyone, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you either at 1 or on February the 5th for menu codes.